Hello everybody, Reverend Dr. Red here. Welcome to the Bible Filled In. This video is Genesis Filled In Part 1. In this video I'm going to be covering a couple of basic questions, obviously from the very beginning of the Bible, that people have. It keeps on getting assumed that there were other people, but where did they come from? Why had God created the serpent, and such questions as that. I might go a bit further than that, but I don't want these videos to go on for too lengthy of a time. I want to make sure everybody gets everything, piece by piece, so they can actually take it all in, have time to realize what the truth is. If they need time to look everything up that I'm saying, they can look it up and see that what I say is actually the truth. It is all right here in the Bible. So, depending on time in the video, when I get done explaining what I got to explain on the basic beginning, I might go a little bit further than that, or I might just have that saved for part 2. As far as answering the first question, as far as the assumption that there were other people on the planet, where did they come from, which is kind of sort of connected to up in chapter 4 in Genesis with the whole banishment of Cain, which is a little bit chapter 4 is a little bit ahead of where I want to get right now, but I'll include it. It kind of fits into what I want to cover about chapters 1 and chapter 2. A lot of people will ask the question based on chapter 4 when filled with Cain being banished from the Garden of Eden, and he's concerned that somebody's going to kill him or whatever, and he can't handle the punishment that God put on him. So God put a mark on him, lest anyone find him and kill him. And that Cain will be avenged sevenfold. And at that point, Cain then left and went to reside in the land of Nod, to the east of the Garden of Eden. And people will base that on that fact. Well, if Adam and Eve were the only people, and they were in the Garden of Eden, and Cain is being banished from the Garden of Eden, and from the side of the Lord, or I should say from Israel rather, where are the other people? And if there's concern about Adam and Eve having problems with other beings, but the Bible states that man was created inside the Garden of Eden. Now that they're going out, where are those people coming from? And if it was only Adam and Eve, where they had went and started up their family, that would be the only people around, and there wasn't really all that many of them to be widespread yet, right? Well, one thing that a lot of people seem to miss, and a lot of churches, even if they do realize it, they don't exactly teach it properly. They kind of help promote the misconception, the misperception of what the Bible is actually saying. So I'm going to say, if you actually read the Bible properly, you will realize that in Genesis 1, chapter 1, it goes into the beginning of the earth and the heavens. Everybody can, agree with that fact. But then, if you go in chapter 2, you can see that towards a little bit into chapter 2, but chapter 2, verse 7. You will see that it's literally starting to talk about a second creation. When you read it, and you're not really paying attention to what's being stated, it does read as if it starts reiterating the first creation and just go into a little bit more details. But if you dissect what it's saying and read between the lines and take a really good hard look at what it states, you will see that that's literally mentioning two creations. The first creation is literally the earth is formed, the heavens are formed, animals, everything that everybody already admits that they believe that that's what happened. And man is created. Then it specifically goes into the fact how a little chunk of land that's surrounded by the rivers, the Euphrates, and was marked off as the Garden of Eden, which is the original territory of Israel. So as you can see from right here in this book, the landmass that is called Israel, the nation of Israel today, is actually a small fraction of the amount of land Israel, or the Garden of Eden, was actually residing on. And man was then recreated specifically inside that little area, fenced in by ways of the water, and different animals and vegetation was planted inside of that little area for that specific man. That man that was created inside that little garden was Adam and Eve. That's what God, the beginning of God's people here on earth. That is the people of Israel. If you are a descendant of Adam and Eve, you are an Israelite. You are literally a child of God. These other people, these other beings that were created prior to that and dispersed elsewhere, were the different men. I guess you can say that they were the Gentiles. As Jesus puts it on later on in the book, the Gentiles are the people of this world. In other words, they belong here. They were meant for this world. And the children of God are not of this world. Meaning that, yes, we're here, we were put here, but this is more like a school for us. It's literally a test on our faith and on our loyalty to God. And either we pass or we fail. And everybody knows what happens if we pass, everyone knows what happens if we fail. And up to the days of Jesus, if you were a Gentile, that's it, you're a Gentile. If you're an Israelite, you're pretty much good. And when there is a covenant with Israel, which I'll get into later on, in the days of Jesus, Jesus then said that it was okay to preach to the Gentiles, and he was going to begin accepting the Gentiles. If the Gentile accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, that Gentile was now considered to be an Israelite. I'm getting back to the beginning here, what I'm trying to tell you about. There were other beings on here on this planet besides Adam and Eve. And that's what I'm going to ask you, like I asked you in the intro video, to watch these videos of the series with this book nearby, so you can confirm what I'm saying to you, and with an open mind, so after you get done watching this video, you can look up what I'm saying on the internet or at the library, and do your own due diligence. But if you take into account that Christianity is just another sect of Judaism, and you take into account that there are numerous ancient religions that were dispersed across the planet, but they all had the same beliefs, very similar technologies, and what have you. All you had was pretty much the same thing being preached. The only thing that was different was the names of the individual based on the language that they spoke. Translated into English, all the names mean the same thing. Like the fact that we say amen after we pray. If you say it the way it was supposed to be said, or if it was spelled the way it was originally spelled, it would be pronounced amen. And if you look that up, that actually relates back to Jesus Christ. So, this theory of there being, a Godhead, when you got God the Father and the Son, with the shared Spirit, is not strictly a Christian belief. It has been a belief of mankind for thousands of years, and quite frankly, it should have been of the Jews, because it was originally, they are the people of God. And obviously, the Christians of the time were the only ones that really accepted the coming of the Messiah. And in time, the rest of them should wake up, and eventually, in time, the rest of the Christians will wake up and realize the fact that we are just another sect of Judaism. We are Jews, and in that respect, we are Israelites if we are believing on this book right here, and we are believing in Jesus Christ. So take that into consideration, as I was saying, and you start relating back all the similarities, and just taking out the cultural differences based on the culture of the peoples. When you kept the faith beliefs, the similar beliefs of the faith intact, what you're going to find is that really what really happened, that got misconstrued, thousands of years ago, into what wound up becoming today modernized, westernized Christianity, for the half-truths and all lies. Now, really what it was, which leads up to why we're here, is Lucifer and Jesus Christ were actually suspected to be brothers. And granted, mainstream Christianity doesn't teach that. And there's a lot of ancient faiths that predate Christianity that are relatively close to Judaism and in different parts of the world. Now, considering where they were in comparison to the Jews, it was quite astonishing to find that they were believing on the same Godhead and the same beliefs, more or less. And a lot of these ancient religions and these ancient peoples, and I believe there's also such a Judaism, can also have had the same beliefs. And I believe, if I remember correctly, it was also found a book that was believed to have been part of the original Bible, the Christian Old Testament, that was later taken out approximately 300 years before King Jesus even came. There was a tribunal of rabbis that was going through the Bible, or in their words would be the Torah, and decided that was too big, and they had to take out the different books that they felt weren't important. And later on, after Jesus' death, the Christians that wound up becoming the Catholic Church did the same thing to the New Testament, and took out even more books from the Old. Anyways, as I was saying, there were scriptures of numerous ancient civilizations that this Godhead, the God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, how it came to be was the fact that before this earth, the earth and the heavens was created, there was already another civilization elsewhere, where God was the supreme ruler. He was the Lord of the people, and they literally went into self-destruct mode, in the matter of speaking, very similar to what we're seeing happening here through this massive nuclear arms race. All these international nations are having with each other, and the possibility of World War III, and the fact that we just can't seem to come at peace with one another, and we're constantly blowing each other up. So, looking at their world being, in self-destruct mode, in an act to more or less preserve their world, or their species, and whatnot. He had two sons, Lucifer being the older son, and Jesus Christ being the younger son. And obviously these are the English names. I forget what the original names were in the original language. I should have looked that up before making this video. I don't remember, but the fact of the matter is, in English, it was Lucifer and Jesus. And he asked his sons, telling them that he needed one of them to be able to come down here, that they were gonna still had abilities, they were gonna still know something, but they weren't gonna be fully aware, and that they'd be experiencing, be able to feel everything we can feel, and literally experience this, wouldn't be, connected to that civilization for a short time, and that they literally had to be killed. Originally, Lucifer had decided that he would do it. But he wanted a great big payout out of this. He wanted some kind of an award. And Jesus said he would do it, and didn't want an award. He just wanted to please his Father. That's all he was concerned about, was pleasing his Father. His Father needed something done, he wanted to do it, and to make his Father happy. So naturally, Jesus was granted the position, and the work, and it was then stated that Jesus would be second in line for the throne. Lucifer in turn got a little annoyed because he wanted to be king. He was looking forward to the Father stepping down off the throne and handing it over to Lucifer. Now he's a little disgruntled because his younger brother, Jesus, was now being awarded with the throne. When the Father steps down, Jesus will step up to be king. And Lucifer waged war against the Father, and in turn, he sent Lucifer down here, only not for his people, not for Israel, but made them live with the Gentiles. And a couple of Lucifer's followers went with him. And that's where a lot of pagan religions start, because that's pretty much what Lucifer was. Lucifer wanted to be more than just king. He wanted everybody to literally worship him to the modern meaning or definition of worship. And because they do live a lot longer than we do, we're going to get into that in a minute too, it only makes sense that, you know, he might be able to get away with it for a little while. And then when he found out that, he realized that his father was, or God, went ahead and created Eden and started everything out. And that's when he went in and tried tricking Eve into eating from the tree of knowledge and evil, good and evil. Now, needless to say, obviously this was all planned out and pre-written, and God the Father had to have known that this was going to play out, or at least one of the sons were going to do that to him. Because as you can see, Lucifer unwittingly played right into the scheme of things. And he literally can walk right into being the bad guy in order for everything else set forth. Because obviously, if there was going to be need for Jesus to come down and try to save his people, somebody or something would have had to have happened down here to draw his people away from him. And as we can see in the beginning of Genesis, that was the serpent, or Satan, which is also, you know, said to be Lucifer. Now, when it mentions the word Nephilim in the Bible, that's the Godhead. Because God does say, and I remember this, God does say, let's make man in our image. He wasn't just talking to himself. He was, in fact, talking to the other rest of the people of his species. All this we're going through is in an attempt to preserve what they destroyed on their world. Because of all the evil that we see that Lucifer attached himself to, all the greed and sin, is what destroyed their world. And by going through what we're going through down here, it's an attempt to get us past that point and preserve life through peace and love, but not love in the sense that everybody takes it to mean. In a more biblical love, it's a closer kind of love. It's a different kind of love. I don't really know how to explain it. It's not. Anyway, that's for another video. Anyway, and it says that the Nephilim are also called the Anunnaki, which a lot of people believe to be an alien species. And you got a question, well, alien species as far as interdimensional, an alien as far as another planet. You know, there's a lot of different theories there, but you can look it up for yourself. You might think I'm crazy right now, but you know, I've been in my studies a long time. My studies continue on a daily basis. And like I said, the truth is hard to understand sometimes, hard to grasp sometimes. I had a whole emotional roller coaster ride when I was learning all this stuff. But when you start, you know, getting heavy into it, and you start doing your own due diligence and your own research, you will find that everything that I'm saying is you know, 100% truth. And what's disturbing about, what disturbed me about the most, was that this is what the truth is, and we were deliberately lied to and deceived. Makes you question why, but then again, it was all prophesied to happen this way. And there is a purpose. The main lesson of the Bible, I'll probably repeat a million times through these videos. But as I said, if you watch each video, all videos in order, you'll get different pieces of the puzzle, and it'll make the Bible make a whole lot more sense to you. So anyways, as I was saying, and these Nephilim, they were said to be giants. And there seems to be a great debate about whether or not there were giant beings on this planet before modern man was here, or during modern man possibly, when they had gone extinct, or what have you. Fact of the matter is, yes, there were giants. They were on average between 10 feet and 11 feet tall. That was Nephilim. That was the Satan or Lucifer and his people that were thrown out of the heavens and onto earth, as well as the original Gentiles, the people of this world. And that's where it gets into the whole the sons of God, so the daughters of man, and all what's going on. The sons of God being the Nephilim, and they literally interbred, and that's where the problem arose. A lot of people are suggesting that there were giants, that they're extinct by now. Others are suggesting that they're living underground. I mean, there's a million different stories. I'll cover that in a future video in the series, where it actually fits into the scriptures I'm covering easier. And then you have the whole age thing that went on there, where you can see, can a man live for, can go 900 years, 1,000 years, and then all of a sudden God dropped down to 120 years. Well, that was because if you actually pay attention to what the Bible's saying, and you take in moral symbology for what it really is, and you actually take in the actual true message that is right here in this book, and you can allow yourself to step outside of the box mainstream society and the West has constructed around us, and Satan has constructed around us using society and world governments and whatnot, leading us to fall for these lies and deceptions. You will realize that is because the gods, but God and His people, they were literally messing around with our genetics. When it says that we were made in their image, we were literally made in their image. We're not quite as advanced as they are as far as evolution is concerned. As far as evolution is concerned, spirituality is concerned, and the whole nine, man as a whole is still in its infancy stage, though obviously by reading this book right here and by researching the greatest spiritual leaders since Jesus' day, you will see that there are, a few people that were here that by the definition of the word prophet were prophets because they were more spiritually inclined than the majority of men. And they were more spiritually inclined, spiritually in tune to man as a whole. And that was more or less done on purpose by God to make sure that aside from Him watching and directing everything from the heavens, that there were actual teachers here in the flesh for mankind, whether that particular man or woman realized they were a teacher for mankind, and they realized they were doing this out of a calling from God, or they just kind of went with the whole flow of things. It is up for debate. I mean, I know how I feel. I know how other people feel about that. But obviously, we're not back in time to talk to these people. We're not going to be in the future to talk to the future prophets, so we're not going to be able to know if they realize what they are or if they're just kind of going with the flow with things. But as a whole, mankind is still in infancy stage in relation to God the Father and you know, the original beings. So yes, we do look like them, and I'd say in more of a primitive state, and we were able to live for a decent amount of time in the very beginning. And then obviously, like I said, our lifespans got short, and that was because they decided that, well, we weren't ready yet to be able to live that long. So they altered our DNA to shorten our lifespan down to 120 years. It's kind of like you know, can ask a parent with their parents, that two parents' child. That child is gonna do something wrong, and you're gonna punish it and you're gonna correct it, and you're gonna hope as that child grows up, it will learn some responsibility and be better off in the long run and be a decent adult and a decent parent to its children. That's more or less what God the Father is doing with us. He's trying to teach us, and we keep on, like typical children, we're disobeying our parent, and in turn, he's punishing us for it. But everything is happening in stages. When we can finally prove that, you know, we can get past this particular thing and we can stop doing this particular thing wrong, then we'll stop getting punished for doing it wrong. It's just the way it is. And that's how it is. So, I'm covering a lot more material in this video than I thought I was originally going to. That's fine for me. I mean, there's just not much more stuff covered, but at the same time, if I'm covering too much information for any of you too quickly, or I'm covering too much with not in depth enough, then by all means, leave a comment in the comment section of the video, or send me an email asking me whatever questions you might have, and I'll answer you without a problem. It's not a problem. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to help you understand the Word of God. I'm here to help you walk the path of the truth and the light. I'll help you take you out of the darkness. Basically, now that this video is going on over a half hour, I think I covered more than I wanted to cover. And a lot of you are probably going to be figuring, well, this is a conspiracy theory, I'm crazy, whatever you might want to say. Like I said, I've been in my studies 12 years. And my studies continue every day. And, you know, I do have my degree and whatnot. And I pray Jesus every day. I do feel I had an honest calling from God to do this line of work. And He just thanks to Him giving me this calling, my life is completely different than what it once was. I think I'm a better person for it. And like I said, if you do your own due diligence, you will see. I want you to believe this to be the truth simply because I'm telling you it's the truth. I want you to do your own due diligence. I want you to question me. I want you to question yourself I want you to go to your church on Sunday and question your pastor on this. I want you to see that what I'm saying is the truth, because you have done your own research and you see it to be the truth. And once you see it to be the truth, that is when I want you to believe it to be true. I want you to believe it to be true because you see it to be true. Now, do basic run over. I pretty much confirmed for all y'all that yes, there were other beings here on the planet Earth during the days of Adam and Eve. They were in fact Nephilim, which were being led by Satan. So Satan was already here, and in the sense of being made the way that everybody takes the word, considering how God made the earth and everything, that is not how Satan got here. It is strongly believed by looking at the original texts and ancient civilizations that Satan is in fact the older brother of Jesus Christ that was disowned by God the Father because he more or less went against God. He actually did go against God. And God in turn disowned Satan. Satan's trying to kill him. Obviously, you know, if your son tries to kill you, I wouldn't expect you to keep him either. I'd expect you to get on the phone with the police and call the cops, or, you know, do what you got to do to protect yourself. That's just how it is. So when Lucifer or Satan rose up against God the Father and tried to kill him, he more or less disowned him. And that's why he says that Jesus Christ is his only begotten Son. And if you look up the definition of the word begotten, that's literally what it means. And so when God says Jesus is his only begotten Son, it's because Jesus is the only Son that he recognizes. He disowns Satan. But looking at ancient texts and ancient civilizations, it's believed that Satan and Jesus are brothers, and that's where Satan came from. And the whole purpose of what's going on here is to try to preserve what apparently we're repeating, but to preserve our species of animals and man and our values and our morals, now that our original world went into self-destruct mode. And this is going to be covered closer to the book of Revelation, but I'm going to brief it right now so it makes sense a little bit. And that's why it says that after the end days and after the 1,000-year reign with Jesus, this heaven and this earth is going to be destroyed, and we're going to have a new heaven and a new earth, because there's literally going to be a new world created, just as it states. And I hope you can still hear me, because my video looks like it froze up there for a second. But just as it states, there's going to be a new heaven and a new world created, because they destroyed theirs, and that is our home. And we're going to be going home. We're only visiting here. We are not the original man of this planet. We're only visiting, and at the end of all this, we're going home. Yeah. I don't want to cover too much outside of what I'm trying to cover here. And like I said, I don't think I covered too much about it in the beginning of the video. if you pay close enough attention, just do me a favor and read through Genesis chapters 1 and chapters 2 and pay really close attention to the text, because there was, in all actuality, two creations. There was first the man of the world created, and then the Garden of Eden, which is the original borders of the nation of Israel, not what they have today. Then the Garden of Eden was created and quarantined off by way of the water, and that's where God's people originated from, where God put us, where God put the Israelites. But all this is just, a school or test or whatever you want to call it, basically the same thing. Try to weed out all evil from the good. And actually all the evil, as God states, is going to be in eternal damnation, and the good go on to the new world, reigning under the leadership of Jesus Christ, now that he has stepped up to the throne and is now king. I don't know if I really worded this video from the way I had it set up in my head, and I did in an earlier video. I don't pre-write my material. I just kind of put it together in my head and get up and speak. So I don't know if I said it as clear as I was thinking it. So if you have any questions for me, please, by all means, go to spiritualmessiahministries.org or spiritualmessiahministries.com and go to the contact page and send me an email either through the ministry or to me personally. Leave the question to me on Facebook, or go to the comment section, put your question there on the video here, and I will answer your question more in depth if I didn't cover what I wanted to say. If I didn't cover what I want, my topics clear enough for you, I will go more in depth for you. I kind of went off track. I'm trying to stay on strictly just Genesis. Obviously, I couldn't just do that. I had to, outside of that, I had to clear myself. So, on that note, thank you for watching. Like I said, feel free to ask me any questions you might have. Do your own diligence. Look up the information that I lay before you and see for yourself that it's the truth. And I will see you in the next video. God bless.